just want to be able to read what this says. Hold on. No cell phones. Okay.
You said yes?
And see, and don't be late. I remember those.
You know what? Get a chance to check the parking lot for the place. All right, thank you.
Okay. Islam, Dwayne Bethel Bay. Islam, it's me. I'm running Arrington-Bey, Imani Grade Bay. Islam to you. Just going over what I was about the signs again. That's in Burger King. I'm just getting off work. It's October 27, 2020. I was just thinking today, like, for instance, today, just a few moments ago, in reference to spirituality, because I said I was going to start like documenting my thoughts, and I was thinking about how, okay, well, a situation just happened. It is now. I just got off the clock and I just walked out. Okay, you know, I gave testimony about spirits that are able to like force mental engage all at once. So if they force mental engage all at once, it can easily block a thought, or if you're not paying attention, and then another thought is sent purposely. So say you're trying to correct something, and then a spirit is used to force mental engage, and then the spirit is forced mental engage, and then another thought from an invading spirit is done purposely. What it does, it can block your thought of what you were trying to do intentionally. So if you're in school and the government needs more students to go in debt and not complete their degree, and in order to do that, they put spirits deliberately in classrooms that have the telepathic code to block thoughts, or put them around homes to cause problems with they're trying to study. They're trying to get the degree that they want, that they took student loans out for. Okay, they took thousands of dollars of student loans, but the government needs those to be more enslaved financially, and so they can use that energy. So what they can do is, the way Bethel Bay I learned is use those that have the telepathic code to deliberately block thoughts and cause it or send or force mental engage, which can cause pressure on in your mind, mental dis-ease, where you're not able to study efficiently and pass a test, go to work, do things that you would normally do with no problems if you weren't among those that had the telepathic code and was abusing it and being used by that foreign government that needs bondage, or is implementing bondage instead of freedom. That means they're outside of constitutional fold. But I just had a thought, because just a few moments ago, it was so interesting. I was sitting there, Dwayne, and I was like, this is so funny. Not funny, but interesting. So Lorena is, I don't know where she's from. I think she might be from Puerto Rico. I'm not sure. But I don't know. But she's a co-worker. So, you know, the ticket said a Whopper with, I'm not a Whopper, a hamburger with only onion and mustard. She slid down a Whopper with only onion and mustard. Okay? Now this is how the experiment goes, to see, you know, think of this as an experiment to see if those that are engaging are doing their job, because you can tell. For instance, you can tell that an experiment is working when you look at statistics. So, for instance, you look at statistics, Islam, of health in the United States jurisdiction. The statistics in health in the United States jurisdiction shows that the citizens are below average in health, physical health, which is connected to mental health. There are 34 other countries that are considered civilized or more civilized in the United States jurisdiction. So the entire country, all states are in red. That means they are below health. So in reference to experiments, when they do these statistics to see what's going on, and you know that we are among those that have the telepathic code that can spread diseases, sexual diseases, viruses. They can cause you, if you are subjugated to accept the telepathic code, you might eat more, eat less. These unclean, unnatural spirits can force mental gauge with you while you're sleeping, cause mental dis-ease, bipolarism, depression, schizophrenia. These are the scientific or psychological terms they use to not say what's truly going on in reference to using these unclean, unnatural spirits to cause the citizens on this landmass to be below health, physically and mentally. So just a few moments ago, Dwayne Bafube, it's so interesting. I was like, okay, Lorena, getting back. This is a Whopper with only mustard and onion. I need a hamburger with only mustard and onion. And she was like, I said it now. I said, no, this is the Whopper. And then we're going back and forth. I said, Lorena, will you make a hamburger with only mustard and onion? Okay? And then I felt, as I was doing that, I felt a pressure on one of my sheaths. And but because I was focusing on getting the order right, and slightly there was a thought that was implanted. So I could tell spirits were engaging. Okay, and then I handed Musa, he's the one from Senegal. He told me he was from Senegal. The bag without the hamburger. Without the hamburger, with only mustard and onion. I just went back and forth with Lorena, telling her that she sent down a Whopper that is marked with only mustard and onion, not a hamburger that need to be marked with only mustard and onion. And so I almost made a mistake. And Musa, he was like, I got it. As I handed him the food. And I said, whoops, I didn't put the hamburger with only mustard and onion. So after I went through all that to make sure the meal was correct, I still made a slight mistake by not putting the hamburger in the bag that only had mustard and onion. And I definitely felt my sheaths, and I'm not accusing anyone, I don't know them personally, anyone at Burger King personally. So I thought that was odd. I definitely felt my sheaths of my body being forcefully mentally engaged. Okay? So now, if you have decided to implement war on the citizens of this country, where you have people in credit card debt, you have citizens in credit card debt, citizens in student loan debt, different forms of debt, period. And then you start saying, and then you're implementing the spirit of bondage. Not only that, you are among, you give them the telepathic code, but you do not encourage constitutional law, which includes the 13th Amendment with 20 sections and all 4 of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. Okay? So, what what does that tell you? And you know that this Constitution that many soldiers have died for, so that we as true American citizens, or those who are in the process of becoming true American citizens, can walk upon this landmass without being terrorized. Terrorism can be spiritually, mentally, and physically. It doesn't have to be physical. So, especially now that we know that there's a such thing of telepathy. So, but yet you want to use the citizens of this country, this landmass, as slaves. And not only that, you created a whole different species of beings who do not uphold constitutional law. A whole creature of freaks, lowlives, who you are going to use to stalk and amalgamate with clean celestial beings. And it could be spirits that are non-Moors. They don't have to be Moors, but you just want to slave breed a freak of nature in a population so that you can keep the frequency low and keep that spirit of freedom outside of lines, bloodlines, ancient ancestral lines. And so you are going against everything that is natural, everything that is just. So that's my thought. So anyway, I thought it was interesting because I was, I did all that work back and forth with Lorena, and trying to get her to send down a hamburger with only, you can, if someone was looking in to and trying to see an experiment, trying to see if an experiment worked, they were able, and if they had the telepathy, the code of telepathy, they would have been like, oh, you see, keep engaging. And so if they needed many citizens to be in debt so they can slave breed a freak, a lowlife, they might call themselves brother, like I gave testimony about. These are unclean spirits I'm talking about. Not all that are black or African American are unclean. And if you don't consider yourself unclean, you know I'm not talking about you. But if you think I'm talking about you, you probably are one of the filth that I'm giving testimony about. You probably are one of the diseased low-life I'm giving testimony about. They could be Spanish speaking, definitely those, all right? Because if they are trying to escape poverty from wherever they come from, these are unclean spirits, and they are already something else, then of course the government, military, police, we use them. They could be definitely pale skinned. You're dealing with unclean spirits. They could be foreigners from Africa, whatever. It doesn't matter. The thought process I'm trying to exude is that true American citizens, those that are trying to implement laws of freedom, the Constitution of 1787, which includes 13th Amendment with 20 sections, all 4 of Abraham Lincoln's proclamations. War is upon them. War. And it's spiritual and it's mental. And some of them, I think, because they are so comatose with the code of telepathy, they feel that they have no choice but to go along with it. So, that's my thought. Today was a good day, Dwayne Bey. One of the things I was thinking about is, I came in today, and well, let me just say this. Mr. Thomas said I was washing the trays today. I thought this was odd, and there are 2 trays at the front counter on either side of the cash register. and I grabbed both of them to wash. He told me, he said, "Why are you washing both trays? You only use that one. You're the only one that used the tray." But the signs are still up for everybody to use the trays. So I went ahead to make sure I read over it again, and it still say that, because this is not the first time the manager, Thomas is a black male, or managers have said that I'm the only one that used the trays. So why am I, washing it or something like that? This is actually the second time, but I forgot all about it because I noticed that, because one time the trays just disappeared and then they appear again. So if they're on the counter, that's implying that they're supposed to be used. The notes are still up from management. I think it was CJ, for us to use them. So I don't know why they're stating I'm the only one that used the trays. It's just like drive-through. If I hand food out drive-through, I still grab a tray and use it. It's implementing contactless because of the pandemic. Another thing, I thought it was odd. When I came in today about 9:50, I went in to grab a mask, and I kept saying, "Excuse me, Thomas." He was in the office where the masks were, and he was like, he didn't say anything. He was just standing still, like, and I was like, "Excuse me," so I could grab a mask. He wouldn't move, so I just squeezed by him and grabbed the mask. And then as I was counting the drawer, and I went to go get the drawer, Miss Phyllis, I saw a napkin. I didn't know what was in the napkin, but I put the drawer down, the cash register drawer, and I slid the napkin over. It was bunched up. And then Miss Phyllis was saying something about, I heard her saying something. She started saying F. She started using the word F. Something about they want to F her or something. I don't know what she said, but she definitely used the word F-U-C-K. And then she said, "Rhonda, don't touch, if I have food in there, don't touch, don't go in the office." I said, "I see a napkin here. I didn't know what was in it, but I moved it, so her food," she's implying or saying that her food was wrapped up in a napkin. It was a brown napkin. You couldn't see through it. I just moved whatever it was over so that I can count the money and get my day started. So that was my day today. And I just continued to do my job. So she using the word F, or cursing again, out of the blue. So I thought it was odd. Anyway, those are my thoughts today. So once again, when you have masses of people outside of constitutional law, masses of people, and they're in a system of slave breeding, disease, abominations, and you know they're abominations right now. Hold on. Right now, as I'm walking, my ankle is hurting. Let me see if it'll stop hurting. Because a lot of the times when this happens, I notice the United States Navy or Army that are unnaturalized, sometimes I see them walking around. The United States Navy and Army, or in the police. So a lot of times. And illegal, I told you about, you already know how close the bases are. But I don't, you would think, I did a video to you, Dwayne Baffour-Bey. I'm like, if you're outside of constitutional law, which implements freedom, if this land was attacked by terrorists, okay, because they have used the word terrorism, the fight against terrorism on TV lots of times. Why are they fighting? Who would they be fighting from? What are they fighting for? If they themselves are outside of constitutional law, they're being used by a foreign entity. They are not upholding natural laws of freedom. And this land was invaded because Rhonda Arrington-Bey, and my son Imani Bey, we affirmed to uphold constitutional laws of freedom. And that gives you some form of ethics to not cause harm and walk and demonstrate yourself as a true American citizen. And also, we are naturalized. We are natural beings. So if this landmass was attacked or under attack, and the citizens needed to be protected. What are they protecting us from? Are they protecting us from them? Islam, and that should be the question. From them, or truly another form of terrorism? Islam. Because if you are unnaturalized, you're in the military, you're unnaturalized, you're a cop, and you yourself perform acts of terrorism mentally and spiritually, what would they be fighting for? That's the question. What would they be defending this landmass from? Themselves? Islam. It's October the 27th, 2020. And yes, people are still outside and around the room saying, brother, I love you. Spanish speaking, begging, accent, saying I love you. Let me help you. Werewolf, pale skins, the same thing, same spirit, energy. I heard them say military police. 3, saying the number 3. We paid. He sold you. We paid. So once again, why are they saying these forms of bondage, or speaking these forms of bondage in a land that's supposed to be implementing freedom? What would the military that is unnaturalized be fighting for? Fighting against themselves? We got to protect the citizens from ourselves. Because these are acts of terrorism, spiritually, mentally, and physically.